Hey everybody, George Moorhead, Bentley Properties. Today we're going to talk about our July real estate market. Yes, this is August, but remember, we always look in the rearview mirror for our stats, okay? So today, market stats, July, where are we going? Is this a boom? Are we in a bust? Are we going to stay flat? Should I buy my house now? Should I sell now? Those are all things we're going to go over here in just a little bit. Again, my name is George Moorhead with Bentley Properties. I've been practicing for about 27 years, and we have sold over 2,000 residential and commercial properties. So we're going to get some really great metrics today. It's going to help you kind of give you an idea of where we're at in the big picture and kind of where are we going to go? What do we anticipate? I did bring out my crystal ball polish, so you got to listen up. So with that, go ahead and hit the like. Ask any questions that you might have. Give me a big wow if you like what you're hearing. And then, of course, share the information. It's free. There's no cost to this. If you have questions, like many people, you'll reach out to me by email, by text. You can post the question here. Then everybody can see it, and we'll respond to you. Yes, we actually respond. So a couple of things. One, a big shout out to Prism Painting and Sheetrock. Rick's group, Mario did an absolutely fabulous job helping us out along with Josh and getting some of our clients taken care of. One of the homes that we built, Mario came out, did a bang up job making sure that these guys had a nice, crisp, clean house to move into. And then, of course, they're absolutely treating our clients amazingly well. So remember, we're looking for 10 plus people. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, we want 10 plus. If you are that person and you believe in customer service and you are all about quality, you need to get in contact with me. All right. As an example, somebody said, all right, George, I'm going to put you to the test. I'm looking for a copier. I don't want to buy a new copier, but I'm looking for a really high quality copier. Who have you got? I said, hey, I can do that. Send them over to Asset Recovery down in Kent. And ththey actually bought a copier. It's absolutely fabulous. They keep raving about it. And I said, okay, that's good. But if you know a 10 plus person also, let's do that introduction so we can put them on our site. We will vet them, make sure that they are quality, make sure that they have no complaints against them. Of course, if they're licensed and bonded, we need to make sure that that is done. And we'll get them on the list. All right. If you know somebody, let us know. Let's help everybody that we know, in our community here, right? Okay, so with that, let's talk a little bit about what happened. So in July was the best 12 months that we have ever had in the last year, actually last year and a half. July was a bang up type of market, meaning we had the greatest number of sold properties. However, why did that happen? Well, it was simple. We had a reduction in interest rates. That had a huge impact on that. We also had a slightly increasing market as far as homes on the market, even though our inventory level, our listing level actually dropped basically 1.76%, okay? So new listings went down 1.76%, all right? Okay, that's not a whole lot considering we still have a limited inventory. But year over year, from last from last July, we had that impact as far as fewer homes on the market, and only because our sales were up. Year over year. I think it was 8.6%, 8.2%, 8.2%. All right. So we were up 8.2%. All right. In last month alone, we were 6.7% up from June, okay? That is an excellent sign. Not totally unexpected because June, end of May, June, beginning of vacations, kids get out of school. Yes, I know. Not everybody has kids in school, but the trend still exists regardless. So what's going to happen next? We'll talk about that. But let's get back here. So we have new listings that are basically on their way. They were down, right? And that is year over year. But then more importantly, and the trend that is a little concerning, pending sales, right? We're down just a tad. That's a 0.6%. All right. A little concerning because we were hoping that we would continue to see that trend, because remember, we're always looking in the rearview mirror back here, right? Always looking backwards as far as metrics and trends. That's why some of your online home evaluation systems are not very effective, because they're always looking behind and they're not able to see current and what's moving forward. So when we have our pending sales starting to wane a little bit, we have our new listings that are coming down just a tad bit, but our sales actually went up. You might say, George, that's excellent. Yeah, but here's the challenge. The challenge is that we're shifting back to a first-time home buyer market. And you might say, so what? Let's talk about that. So when we have our typical recession, okay, the one from 2007 all the way through 2015-ish, but a standard, a normal recession, our normal cycle. First-time home buyers are typically the group that actually start that recovery. They show that sign of recovery, okay? And they will take up about 43% of the market. And that's a significant number of homes that are going to a specific demographic, okay? But as we continue that recovery, then the first-time home buyers start to come down a little bit. They actually become about 32%, sometimes as low as 28%, depending on the aggressiveness of the market. That's where our move-up buyers and our luxury sellers actually start dominating. They become roughly about 38%, 37% of the market, all right? And that will stay that way. And then all of a sudden, you know, we're seeing double-digit appreciation during this time. We're seeing, you know, healthy, oh, it's a real estate boom. It's going crazy, multiple offers. We all experience that, right? But then when when the move-up buyers and the luxury folks start pulling back a little bit, and then we start seeing that slowing trend, like what we're seeing, and then all of a sudden the first-time home buyers start to kind of come back into the mix again and start becoming, you know, from the 28, 27% and start moving up into the 32, 35, 37%, where we're at today, first-time home buyers. That is also the indication of a trend that we're heading into a recession, all right? Now, if you look at my Fox News report, I think it was December 2015, some people were like, oh my gosh, how did you predict that? And then August of last year, take a look at my market update August of last year, and you're going to hear me talking about what we're going through right now. So here's where I think, well, we'll get to that later. We'll talk about where we're going later, but let's continue this. All right. So because we're taking a look at that transition, that means that 2019 is going to continue to be flat. We're going to see Q3, Q4, third quarter, fourth quarter, again, remaining to be relatively flat. We're going to see a little bit of a bump, but not much, all right? But then you might say, okay, George, I want a new house. It's still a great time to buy a new house. Absolutely fabulous time to buy a new house. Why? Because the builders have actually started to slow their production levels in many of the different plats to match the market, all right? There's no reason to have a whole bunch of standing inventory because it makes no sense. But they do need to kind of balance that of what our absorption is into the market versus what we should be, you know, how many starts that we should create, all right? And they're going to go ahead and continue that. And so you're also going to continue to see some incentives, but not a ton. However, keep this in mind, absolutely important, big bullseye. The best time to buy new construction, especially from your larger production builders, like Pulte, Polygon, Connor Homes. Hey, Charlie, how you doing? You know, when you've got Quadrant, which is it is Quadrant. Not, it used to be Warehouse, now it's out of California. And then you've also got D.R. Horton. Okay, hey everybody, D.R. Horton that I know. Anyway, so understand that they have to get product off by the end of the year. They have end of year numbers they need to meet. Best time, take a look at that. They need to get that off for the books so they move on to the next one. So keep that in mind. If you want to know about not on market yet, new construction, or, you know, coming soon type things, you need to give me a call and we can talk about that. Greg at Milestone's got some great product coming online. You need to know about that. So you can always give me a call and we can chat about that, because Greg is awesome sauce. That he'll build a great product and whatnot. Sidebar note, John Stackman, if you're looking at new construction, getting a custom home built, really, there's nobody better than John Stackman. I have known John for, I think over 20 years. He builds an absolute dynamite product. He's been in the Street of Dreams multiple times. And if you're not familiar with that, those are those really nice homes that you get to pay to go and visit. Anyway, if you need his contact number, he is a 10++ builder. Absolutely fabulous in customer service, gives you great feedback and whatnot. Works with John Kapler, who's an architect. Well, there's another plug, I guess. I guess I'm just full of shameless plugs today. Anyway, if you're looking for something like that, you're considering that, give me a call. Again, no strings attached. We'll hook you guys up. We'll do a nice intro, so there's a nice warm intro into this, which means you get better service, and they also know to, because I'm referring you, they do better job. All right, so moving on. Okay, luxury homes. We have seen a bump in luxury homes as far as coming on market. You might say, well, George, now you just said the first-time home buyers were our market coming back into things. Yes, but everything has an exception. The English language is filled with exceptions, right? This is the exception. In January 1 of 2020, the very smart people, at least they think so, down in Olympia said, you know what? We need to change our excise tax and how it is charged. You might say, what's an excise tax? Sidebar here. Excise tax. When you sell your house, there's a tax, and it's called an excise tax. And what they're doing are for folks that have a home greater than 1.2, 1.3 million, you get taxed more, which is awesome, right? So, not really. Anyway, so the tax is going to go up. And is it significant? It's going to be a heavy hit. So a lot of those folks that are saying, you know what, oh gosh, I'm on the fence of selling, but you know what, now basically I'm going to have to pay a lot more money, and we're talking not just 10, 20,000, we're talking 50, 60 to 100 and plus $1,000 extra just to sell your home that they never took the risk on. I'll get out of my politics here. That is going to cost more. So we're seeing those guys, those luxury homes starting to come on market so that they can either downsize or they can lateral into another home because of that excise tax implication, which has, again, a very large number. So keep that in mind if you're sitting on your house and you're kind of vacillating. You might think, yeah, maybe it's a good time to make this transition. All right. Now, for the folks that sit midstream, okay, so below $1 million net, you're going to be fine. You're going to see actually maybe a little bit better, not much, but maybe a tad more. But you will be fighting on the backside as far as when you do your repurchase and whatnot. Okay, so when we talk about where we're going, what are we going to do? Let's talk about interest rates. So mortgage interest rates today and what we see happening into 2020, you are going to be for your 20% down, all right? You're going to see, basically, I think between 3.875 to 4%, okay? You might see this as low as probably 3.75, 3.78. You'll probably see it as low as that as kind of they bop along, but that's something to consider. Yes, we're going to see this into probably 2020, but it's going to start to go up in my prediction in Q3 as they start to see some of that recovery, mitigate some inflation. They're going to adjust that. So remember a couple of weeks ago, before I went to Toronto for our real estate conference, okay, which was last week, we talked about interest rates and did the feds, affect 30-year mortgages? The answer is no, right? So you need to be watching your 10-year treasury, watch your bonds, okay, because that is what's going to drive your mortgage interest rates. That's what those are going to be levied off of. Okay, so in 2020, I do see those going up probably about third quarter. Some of you might be saying, I don't think so. Who knows? I've been pretty accurate since 2005. Not tooting my own horn, just saying we keep a pretty tight pulse on where things are going. All right, what's 2020 going to do? Oh, let me go to the buy more. How much can you buy more today than in January? 10%. Right? From Jan 2019. Okay? You buy 10% more today. Or if you think about it, I can buy the same house and have a significantly less mortgage payment, right? And we're talking about hundreds of dollars. We're not talking about 50, 60. We're talking about hundreds of dollars if our median price is roughly around $700,000 on the east side, right? In Seattle, it's right about that's a tad bit lower. And then, of course, if we take a look at Snohomish, Snohomish's median price is probably around $650. If we look at Pierce County, we're going to be closer to the 4s, mid 4s, high 4s, something like that. Okay, so this we expect to stay the same. 2020 is going to continue to be flat, actually what we call a little flatter, okay? So we're going to see, or I think by the end of the year, we'll probably see about between 3.5%, 5% total appreciation. That depends on area, right? So we just talked about King, Snohomish, and Pierce County. So when we talk about areas, it's gonna, it's gonna fudge a little bit. The further we get out of the metropolitan areas, the less you will have appreciated. And in 2020, we're gonna see that just kind of stay flat, or maybe just a slight downtrend, in our longer, slower months, and then bumping back up again. And then 2021, I do predict that we will see our recovery, as we will say it. We'll know because we're going to see a significant increase in the first-time home buyers. Remember we talked about that? We're going to see a leveled increase, okay? 2020 is the first-time home buyers flatten out a little bit, and then they'll start to pick up again, right? Then we will see double-digit appreciation. I think we're going to see a relatively aggressive market. So if you're looking at timing a market between now and the end of Q4 of 2020, that's something and a timeline to consider. If you're hey, I want to time the market, okay? The big difference is you need to watch your interest rates, because a higher interest rate, even though you're getting a lower priced home, many times your payment is still higher, okay? And that's if you're doing 30-year and you're going to keep it for a long time. Okay, so with that, that gives you a quick update as to where we're at today. King, Pierce, and Snohomish County are the counties that we track. If you have something outside of that, let me know. I'll let you know what the numbers are. If you want to get an idea of what your specific neighborhood is doing, whether it's like Lake Hills or Rose Hill, or if you're down, if you're in Ballard or Fremont, if you're looking for something that is maybe Dash Point, Browns Point, North Tacoma, Proctor area, Puyallup, all those areas, we track them all. And the reason is that we take a look at where those metrics are going. We'll let you know. If you want an online home evaluation at no cost, just send me your address. We'll fire it off to you. You just get a quick report and just a follow-up. Hey, want to make sure you got it, and you're good to go. So with that, again, if you liked what you heard today, give me a big wow. If you didn't like what you heard today, let me know what you want to hear, and we will go ahead and adjust that. And we'll talk a little bit about that more next Saturday. In the meantime, have a great day. Don't forget to, again, wow, ask your questions, email, text me. And my name is George Moorhead, and you have a beautiful day. Take care.